Hi, I'm Logan and this is my 2007 Audi RS4.
Let's go.
Let me in!
Hey bro.
Hey bro.
Now I'm allowed in. Let's go. So this is a B6 RS4.
B7.
B7?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. Why did I think it was a 6?
The previous generation was a 6.
Yeah, well naturally.
Yeah.
That's how numbers normally work.
Normally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clearly
So,
you're an electrician, right?
on a good day. Yeah, so the main difference between the B6 and the B7's in the headlights.
Okay.
The B6 had a lot squarer bottoms to the headlights and the front end was a lot squarer.
So is this a facelift B6?
No, this is
It's a new one?
B7.
Yep,
Yep.
okay, yep.
So the B6, the bonnet rolled off and then stepped out to a bumper,
Okay, yep.
whereas the B7s have a lot flatter front
Yep,
to them.
yep. And it's a 2007,
7.
yeah, so it's older than I thought it was. I think that's common with Euros though. They look more modern than I'm used to, because I would argue that Europe's normally ahead of Japan, where I spend most of my time.
Yeah, and they age really well too.
Yep.
I do like.
The seats, they hold you in, but they're not real huggy, if you know what I mean. Like, they feel like you're not going anywhere, but it's not pinching you.
They're really nice, especially long distance, like doing the rallies and that.
Yep.
You don't get thrown around. You feel that the inertia pushing you into the seat, but the seat obviously hugs you.
Yep. And so this one, it's a V8. Is it? Are they a 4.2 litre? Is it?
Yep, 4.2.
Look at me knowing a bit of Audi. So it's a 4.2 litre V8, naturally aspirated. Obviously, it's a 6-speed manual.
Yep.
What sort of horsepower do they normally have?
Now you're stretching my brain. Out of the factory, they were something along the line to 400 and something.
Yep. And what do they weigh? They must weigh 1700?
1.5 something.
Oh wow! So they're actually really light considering it's a 4-wheel drive sedan.
Yeah, a lot of the weight is in the drivetrain and the engine.
Yep. Has it got aluminium panels and shit?
Yep. So bonnet's aluminium.
Yep.
Boots aluminium.
Yep.
Door skins are aluminium.
Yep.
And I
Roof?
believe the roof is
Yeah.
too.
Okay. Yep. And you've had a little bit of work done to this.
Yep.
How many horsepower is it now? Rough. Well, you got a dyno, didn't you?
I did get a dyno at the wheels.
Yep.
Right at the hub.
Yep.
It was somewhere around 240 kilowatts.
Yep.
At the wheels.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's a 4-wheel drive, so at the
Yeah.
wheels, that's a lot. They did a dyno when they first got it though, didn't they?
Yeah.
Didn't they do a pre-dyno? What was
Yeah.
that one?
I can't remember the exact figures, but I know we got from when I spoke to them on the phone, because obviously I spent a lot of time talking to them on the phone.
Yes.
They got a 25% increase.
There you go.
They've basically tuned it to a point where any further naturally aspirated and the high pressure fuel pumps will cavitate.
Okay. So you've run out of fuel.
Yeah.
Yep. Just so linear. Hey, it's just so different to a turbo, eh?
It's just all the way.
Yeah. I have to let the crowd know, I've driven this car twice now, eh?
Yeah, you drove it pre-tune and post-tune.
Yeah, I've driven it twice. We were going to do a quick video on it, and then it's this car's actually had quite a bit of reaction through our shorts on the channel. So Logan and I, who hang out often, as you'll notice through the channel, we probably catch up every week, I'd say, in person.
Pretty sure it's down to about 4 days.
Yeah, we're pretty shocking. We're in similar fields. So we just thought we had to do a proper video. So this is today. Yay! We're out driving the Beast. It's a well-known car in Gumboot. It's done, I want to say 6 or 7 Gumboots.
Yep, it had a period where it didn't. The first one it didn't do was because I lost my license.
Yes.
And then after that, I pulled it out of service for a little while because it was starting to get unhappy.
Yes. And it needed that trip to surgeons, didn't it?
Yeah, it needed the significant amount of work done on the.
Well, how many K has it done?
224.
Yeah, so it's a real car. It's not a fucking garage car.
Oh no.
No. So that's fair that it needed a big birthday.
Yeah. My pocket didn't think it was fair, but the car certainly did.
Yes. And you've owned it for how long?
I brought it in 2018, so that would be 6 years.
Yep. It's just so linear. Like, it's hard to fathom. I'm not used to V8s. I have to put that out there. I've spent most of my time playing with small turbocharged cars. This is just, yeah, it's just so flat.
It's just torque everywhere.
Yep.
Then about 4,500 RPM, the FSI valves open up.
Yes.
Like VTEC, I guess, Audi's version of VTEC.
Yes.
The easiest way to describe it to people, and it boots in the arse again.
What do they call it? It's got a really cool name.
I'm
sure it's called Vario. It's Vario something.
Yeah, it's not Google's not going to help me today.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
No Googles.
Yeah, so it's got quite a bit of tech in it for a car
Vanos.
of its age. Yes.
It's Vanos. Or Venos. We will look it up and I'll put a little asterisk thing and we'll correct it. $8,000 in every year. It just doesn't care.
It'll do that all day long.
It's crazy, eh?
Yeah, the Audi packed it with a fair bit of tech, even for 2007.
Yes.
And the suspension, I remember saying to Mikey at one stage that I wanted to take the suspension out and replace it for coilovers, just
Yes.
for coilovers.
Yes.
Because the expense in replacing just the rear shocks was the cost of a set of coilovers and cert.
Yep.
And Mikey very blatantly said to me, if you do that, I will personally drive to New Plymouth and beat the shit out of you.
He's passionate about suspension on Mikey, eh?
Yeah. He enlightened me that Audi spent millions of dollars on the Nürburgring,
Yep.
perfecting the dynamic ride control within this car, which I don't regret paying the excessive amount for the rear shocks to be replaced.
Well, it's one of those games, isn't it? You're in the world of our world, is what I call it, and you're paying our tax, but for our tax, you get this, and you get a machine that does exactly what it should do, and arguably, it does more than it should do, really.
I was very lucky when I got it done, because I did go and tug on Andy's heartstrings, and he managed to worm some favours at Ebbets.
Yes.
And got it done for probably a lot cheaper than it should have been.
Yep. 07 Audi B7 RS4.
Yep.
As I said, I've driven this before, but not for long. So, I mean, this to be fairly honest. Oh, the clutch feels a lot nicer than I thought it would. Oh, not then it didn't. What was that?
You put the clutch out too fast and come out.
Buzzy.
Like it changes and you've got to time
You've got to
the
give
changes right.
give it the second.
Yep.
The pause.
See,
Oh,
doesn't like it when you change it under load.
Yep, okay. So have a slight moment. I remember you love being passenger in your cars.
It is an interesting experience.
I just love the torque down low. Like, that was $2,000. I put the foot down then. It's so long, eh? The rev range, like you said, it really gives you lots to play with.
It's got a massive set of legs on it.
Yeah.
It just
like, what am I,
goes.
third? And I'm just tootling along. We're doing 80k an hour. Just
like I said, up
sweet
over
as.
the Strathmore and Wonkamoma saddle.
Yes.
I sat second.
Yep.
And third and just let it sing.
Yeah, well, that should have been second then, eh?
No, it'll still pull up in third. The cool thing about it is you're not waiting for a turbo to kick in or expecting it to bog down.
Yeah, it's quite different to driving the Audi Quattro, I can tell you that. God, this is cool. Oh, yeah, I get it, man. It has more than I do. And it's always there.
That's the scary part, and you get comfortable real quick.
Yeah, well, as I've said, and I'll put it in the video, Logan drives this a bit quick for me. There's not many people that bother me, and it didn't bother me, it just felt a bit quick. It was the mountain road, and it was wet. And he has far more confidence in his pilot sports in the rain than I do.
I've driven this thing over most of the North Island.
Well, how many Ks have you done in it, do you reckon?
It was at 150 when I brought it.
Oh wow, you done 70,000 Ks.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
And they've been 70,000 hard Ks.
Yeah, and this isn't your daily.
No.
At all. Like, it's probably about the 4th car down your list of dailies.
Yeah.
Logan has not too many cars. He's following the rule, you know, n+1, n equals the current amount of cars you own. He follows that rule well. I haven't actually known you to... Oh, you have sold a car? You sold one Audi in the time I've known you. 2. Oh, you have to sold a black one as well. Yeah, I forgot about that. I liked that car. Oh, that's just so right, eh? Oh, I thought I saw something. I saw dust.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
I didn't lean on it at all then. I just touched the brakes and it pulled up to nothing very effortlessly. See, I believe this is my first foray into the R range in any of the badges actually. I'm new to drive an Audi, Golf R either. Struggle doing a road trip in this, man.
It is effortless to drive.
Yeah, it is. It's like Shell's car, the wife's Subaru, but softer and yet without any sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the suspension feels more compliant, the car feels more sure on the road, everything feels a lot happier, and yet it has better handling, better acceleration, you know? Like, it's really interesting.
The gearbox is real short too. Like the distance between gears is short.
And this?
Yeah, so you can literally, you don't have to move your arm, you move your wrist to change gears.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, the throw's real short, yeah. I could quite happily chew up the Forgotten Highway in this.
That's the scary part, is on the gravel, it's almost as sure-footed as on the tar seal.
Yep.
It's just ridiculous.
I just love how you don't have to go down to second. Like, you just leave it in third, and it's plenty. $2,000, it just pulls out of the corner quite nicely. Well, that was a whole lot of fun.
Certainly not what you expect when you jump in a little 4-door.
It's not what you expect. You don't expect that torque. And it's from 2 to 8.
Yeah.
And unusual to me, as I said earlier, because I'm not used to V8s, I haven't driven many. I'm used to having 2,000 or 3,000 revs of usable torque. Not 6. It's unnatural. And it makes it relaxing and yet engaging. It makes it so you can cruise and yet you can drive spiritedly with zero qualms.
Yeah. You can pass without chopping the gear.
Yeah.
You can sit in 6th and go round someone like.
Yep.
Yeah, you're in 3rd. That actually reminds me of that time we went up to the go-karts and I had Richard, Ethan,
and
Seth in the car. And that Evo come up beside us. And I was quite hesitant, so obviously I had your son and
he was young then too. I think he was only about 14.
Yeah, very very easily encouraged.
Yes,
nothing's really changed
son.
there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I heard you come over the radio and go, just do it.
Yep.
And I said to Richard, what do you reckon? And he's like, why are you hesitating?
Yep.
So down into 3rd, buried my boot, and you could hear this guy working this Evo. Like, you heard him come off power, blow off valve go off, and he's into the next gear.
Yep.
It was about 1.5 his gears to 1 of mine, and we're nose to nose. And Richard goes, how are we getting on? And I'm like, shall I stop playing with him? And he's like, just bury it, Put my foot right to the floor and we just pulled away.
Yep.
And just left this guy for dead. And this Evo 10 sitting there looking really embarrassed.
They're pretend Evos anyway, the Evo 10.
Yeah. And the guy wasn't overly happy about it. But both the boys in the back thought it was the best thing since sliced bread.
So tell me about buying this. You bought it 6 years ago. Where was it?
It was in Palmerston North.
Yep.
What
led you to buy it? Why did you buy an RS4?
I've always loved them.
Yep.
The B7 especially.
Yep.
There's just something about that much horsepower in such a small package.
Yep, I agree.
Like, it's there's something appealing. I mean, as you know, you've seen what I've driven over the years and the collection we have now. I don't drive anything normal.
No.
It's normal's boring.
Yeah.
And I first saw the Audi when the RS4 when it was first released by Audi. And it was the big wide haunched arches in the front and the shark's fins on the bottom of the bumper.
Yes.
And I just looked at it and went, that is one amazing looking car.
Yep.
Saw the price tag of 145,000. There's no way I'm going to own one of those. Parked it as a dream, you know. Never thought anything had come of it. And then I'd been in business about a year, and I'd sold all of my toys to buy a house. To help raise the kids. Found this thing on Trade Me, and it came up for 32 grand.
Yep.
I thought, oh, it's achievable.
Yes.
It's actually achievable. Yeah, okay, it's got some K's under its belt.
Yep.
But it's achievable.
Yep.
It's exactly the trim I want. It's exactly the body shape I want.
Yep.
There's nothing about this that's screaming at me not to do it.
Yep.
So I got hold of the guy, and when I did get hold of him, he goes, I'm sorry, I've sold it. Fuck. Okay. Left it, thought nothing of it, looking at them again, they're 40, 50Ks, leave it.
Oh, so this one was substantially cheaper than most of them. Thus the appeal.
Yep. And then about 6 months later, it came back up.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, that looks like the same car I was about to buy.
Yep.
Did my homework, yeah, sure enough, it is exactly the same car.
Yep.
I rang the guy, and I said, look, the guy, I've got some cash in my pocket, I'm coming down.
Yep.
I rang a friend, didn't tell the missus at the time that I was going, I just disappeared for a day.
Yep.
And I get down to Palmerston North and I walk on the lot, and the guy says, oh, you're here to buy that RS4? I said, yeah. I said, I need to talk to you first because I need to know what's going on. And I said, why is it back 6 months later, and why is it cheaper?
Yep.
And he said, well, I've made my money on the car.
Yep.
He said, I sold it to an older gentleman who wanted a V8 and a European car.
Yep.
He said, he got it home, drove it for about 2 weeks, took his wife out for a drive, and his wife told him it's too much for him, he shouldn't have a car like that, and he needed to sell it. So he took it back, traded it, and like I said, the car salesman had already made his money on it.
Yep.
He's like, look, I'm not trying to rip anyone else, I'm just trying to get back what it's cost me, and
traded
maybe
it
a little
for?
bit more.
Yep.
I said, okay. He said, but I need to let you know it's got a problem now.
Okay.
How bad's the problem? He goes, it'll drive for an hour and turn off.
Okay.
I was like, okay. I said, but it drives. He goes, when it's running, it runs mint.
Yep.
Not a problem in the world. But it'll drive for an hour and turn off. Round about an hour. It's like, okay.
So you're 3 trips from home.
Yeah. I'm doing the maths in my head at this stage. My ride's just buggered off because she had to get back to New Plymouth to pick up her daughter. And I'm sitting in this office going, yeah, I'll get home in the dark, but maybe that's a good idea, seeing as how she doesn't know I'm bringing a car home.
Yep.
What's the worst that can happen? I pulled the money out, I put it on his desk, and I said to him, I either leave that there or I put it back in my pocket and I find my way back to Plymouth.
Yep.
And he goes, oh, it's yours, here's the keys. But we'll do the paperwork now.
Sweet.
I was like, sweet, I just scored it even cheaper.
Yeah.
Fast forward, driving out the gate, grin from ear to ear.
Yeah.
You know, 2007 I first saw one, and I'm like, that is the car.
Yep.
Well, I think it was actually earlier than that.
2007, so you did it in 10 years.
Yeah, I think the B7 was released a bit earlier than that, but you know, around that time. I was so stoked because I didn't actually do a lot of reading up about this particular car, but I got in it and it had a sunroof, and so that was a massive tick for me. So I could score. It had the non-fixed back bucket seats.
Yes.
So the Recaros in this are fully adjustable. They'll do bolster, they'll do lumbar, the headrest.
The front seats.
Yep, the whole lot, and it's all electric. And they're heated, and so are the rear seats.
Yes.
So the rear seats are heated as well, which is, you don't...
It's unusual.
Yeah.
Yep. Especially in a sports car.
Yeah. So I'm pulling out the gate. I'm driving
That's
home.
crazy. So Audi put an aluminium roof, aluminium doors, aluminium boot, and then they went and put heated rear seats in.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And like the back seats are bucketed as well. Like
Yeah.
because it's a 4-seater. It's got seatbelts for 5.
Yep.
But really, it's a 4-seater, and it's designed for 4 good-sized people.
Yep.
You know?
Well, Germans aren't Japanese, you know?
No.
They're not like the normal cars that we get here.
I must admit, when I put a bit of beef on a few years ago, it
Yep.
was horrible to drive because I was overflowing out of the seat. But
You'd gone America.
yeah, I'm like,
Sorry,
I've got
Americans.
I'm not. We've got a Jeep, and it's exactly the same thing. It's a big vehicle, but I'd overflown the seat. It was uncomfortable. It was like, well, I'm not going to change the car. I need to fit back in this thing properly.
Yep.
But back to Palmy, I'm driving out, and I'm going. I'm having so much fun blasting through the gears. So it had standard exhaust, it didn't have any stickers on it, it had the built-in Beltronics radar,
Yep.
and that was about it. That was all I knew about the car, and it was manual, so I'm grinning ear to ear, V8 manual, screaming out, factory rims.
Yep. Oh, yeah, true. I forgot you put the rims on it.
That's because they're cheaper to replace than the factory ones.
Yes, that's not unusual.
It's buzzy as shit.
Yeah.
But we get to I get to Wanganui, coming out the top of, you go past Castle Cliff?
Yep.
Coming out the top, and there's that fruit and veg store at the top, little cafe in there. Get to the top of that hill, and it starts spluttering, and then all of a sudden, off. Just dead. I was like, oh, okay, this is what he's telling me about.
Yep.
Pull over the side
There's
of the road.
your first lesson. What did you do, Wanganui? That's not bad. That's
Yeah.
more than an hour.
Wow.
That's an hour and a half, I would claim normally. Oh, in fact, okay, I understand. Okay, I got it. It's an hour.
I'm not admitting anything on camera of what I did on that trip. But
Let's say it's an hour and a half, right?
yeah, it's an hour if you're solid.
Yep.
But I got out of the car and I walked across the road, and I'm sitting in this cafe just staring at this car going, shit, have I actually done something really dumb here? Or if I was to still sink 10 grand into it over a period of time, I've still got an RS4, and that's, to me, in my mind, that was still achievable.
And even when you're driving at home broken, you could confidently sell that.
Yeah,
even with a brake.
It was still justifiable.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting in this cafe going, right, how am I going to get this car home? He said it drives for an hour and turns off. I'd thought about, I could do it in 3 trips, but I didn't actually think about whether or not it was going to start.
Yeah, that's what my next question was going to be. What's the cool down?
I think I'd
Was it coil packs?
Nah.
Okay.
It was something even
Carry on
simpler.
with the story. Yeah.
So I'd been over, I got something to eat, I'd had a drink, walked back over to the car, chucked the key in, dash lights up.
Oh, so when it stopped working, the dash turned off?
Yeah, everything went dead.
Oh, like someone disconnected the battery?
Yeah,
Oh,
engine,
wow.
engine management lights,
Yep.
everything gone.
Yep.
You could wind the windows up and down. It was pretty much, I had a really big,
Far out.
comfy seat.
Yep.
Jump back in it, dash lights come on. Okay, right. Hit the start button, boom, burst into life. Right. Drive again. Get to just past Fonterra coming into Hara.
I was going to say Hara would be your next one, yeah.
Bah. Fuck, okay. Well, I know it's going to take me about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour for it to cool down.
Yep.
Sweet. So, YY Express up the road, get into Hara, go to McDonald's, have lunch, or have dinner,
What's YY Express?
walking.
Yeah.
Walk back to the car,
Yep.
put the key in, dash lights up. Sweet. Hit the start button. And I got home. Took it to work one day during the week, and having to take it into a mechanic who specialised in Euro. Still
Is that
talked to
iDrive?
him. Yeah.
Yep.
So Adrian took it in, and I said to him, look, if it takes 6 months to a year, okay.
Yep. I need to figure it out.
I've got my car.
Yep.
Like, just tell me what you need to replace, when you need to replace it, and we'll do it based on how much money I have.
Yep, and I'll invent money as we go. Yep.
And he's like, sweet.
That's how
cool.
I built my motor.
Well, 2 hours later, he rings me, and he's absolutely wetting himself with laughter on the other end of the phone. He's like, do you have 20 minutes and a soldering iron? I'm like, yep. What's broken? He's like, nothing. Just come down the workshop with your soldering iron. So I walk in the door. I'm like, what do I need to fix? He's like, look, I've got this engine management unit here that's got a joint that needs soldering.
Yep.
I said, what is it? He goes, oh, there's a dry joint on this diode. It happens to be the power diode. So,
As in the main power to the car.
yeah. So I soldered that up.
Yep.
And I said, oh, what's that out of? He goes, your Audi. He goes, watch this. Puts the computer back together, plugs it in, burst into life, never missed a beat since.
That's amazing.
So-
What a legend, though. Because that's not easy to find.
No. So what it was, when he scanned it, it wasn't coming up with codes.
Yep.
It just...
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with it at the
Nothing
time.
wrong with it,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it just lost power.
Yep.
And because this has got two ECUs, and there's a primary and a secondary for each bank of the motor, and it was primary, and it was just going, good night.
No power.
And that was the end of that.
Yeah. And until it had no power, it had power.
Well, because I think there was something to do with 12 volt, it was something short, it shuts everything down.
Yep.
So I'm pretty sure there was something to do with it short and gets the casing.
Yep, makes
I
sense.
don't know,
Yep.
there's probably people out there that are way more technical than me around that,
Yep.
that will argue the point, but I don't really care. So I've now got my car. Like, a day, it was
Yeah.
all he had it for.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there and I've still got a little bit of money burning a hole in my pocket.
Yep.
I'm like, okay. He goes, what are you thinking now? I said, I'll see you in 3 days. I want a new exhaust. And I want a couple of other things done.
Yep.
And that was when I put the Kobe, so it's got Kobe mufflers on the rear,
Yes.
to the titanium tips.
Yep.
And that was the first thing that got done. So it growled, because it sounded horrible factory, because
Yep.
it was muffled.
Yep.
You could hit a button and the valves would open the exhaust up. And
Also, it did have all that?
yeah, it had vacuum actuated valves.
Yep.
So when you hit sport mode, which we didn't play with today, by the way,
No.
that's fun.
Okay.
But it's not a real big difference, but it's enough that you can have a bit of
Feel
fun.
it. Yep.
So yeah, disconnected all of that, put the Cobes in, it got it to growl. It's like, cool, now I've actually got a V8 and it sounds like a V8.
What's your favourite mod?
Probably the livery.
Yep. Yep. I can definitely relate to that.
Probably the livery.
Yep.
Primarily because everywhere you take this car, it puts smiles on people's
Yep,
faces.
it does.
Kids just think it's amazing. You know, the parents look at it, and most guys, I haven't yet seen a guy that hasn't double take.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
they'll look and then they'll have to look.
Especially if they
again.
hear it.
Yeah. Because to anyone who doesn't know Audi, it looks like an A4 that someone's just plastered stickers over.
That's my favourite thing about it.
And that's what
And then
makes
they
it
hear
so
it
funny.
and go, oh, hang on.
Yeah, that's a little bit different.
Yep.
So yeah, it would be the livery. Kylie at Gravity did an amazing job. I said to her, I want something like this, but I don't want to be sued by Top Gear for copyright infringement.
Grand Tour.
Yeah, Grand Tour.
Grand
So
Tour.
yeah, it's liveried similar
Yep.
to Jeremy Clarkson's
Yep.
Grand Tour car. It did have the older livery on it beforehand for our Paihia run, which was slightly different, but
Yes.
I love this one more.
Then this looks more modern.
Yeah, and
than that
it's
one, and it looks
more
cleaner.
specific to the car.
Yeah.
Whereas the other one was done specifically for making it look like a sponsored rally car.
Yeah, it was a rally car. It was
Yeah.
part of the theme.
So, yeah.
Now this question, I feel this is loaded because I feel this is your dream car. So, money's no object. What is here instead of this?
If money was no object, I'd still have this.
Yep.
But it would be a V10 R8.
Yep, yep.
There's just something about Audis and something about the refined nature of the cars.
That's my dream car as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
And these were... There are people online that call them a baby R8 or a four-door R8.
Yeah, that's fair.
because,
Especially with the V8 version.
Yeah, well, so if the research I've done is correct, this engine and drivetrain was supposed to be in the first generation R8.
Okay.
And then they went, no, let's go V10.
No, the first generation R8 was V8.
Then the story is correct.
I'm quietly confident that this motor shares with the Audi R8.
Yeah, so the...
Yeah, I'm surely, because it's not 1990 when they did a different motor for every car.
Yeah.
Surely Audi went, this is our performance V8. There you go, there you go, there you go.
Well, the V8 also lives in the some of the S cars.
Yes, of course.
S5.
Yes.
But majority of the difference between the V8 that's in this and the V8 that's in those, I think it's the same block, same displacement.
Yes.
The heads are different.
Yep.
All your valve train's different.
Yep.
Still runs high pressure fuel pumps. But all your cam chain tensioners and idlers and everything else are cast or plastic.
Yep.
Whereas this is all billet.
Yep.
Everything about this is...
Are they a hand-built motor on these?
I don't know. It's something I'd have to look up.
Yep.
But you know, you've got two cam-driven high-pressure fuel pumps sitting on top of that motor.
Yep.
That at any given time are running about 1,000 psi.
Yep.
And ported straight into the head.
What was our fuel economy on that drive we just did?
You were actually pretty sedate. It was about 18.9 litres per 100k.
That's awesome.
Gumboot Rally the last one where we went to Wonkemomina and I was going over the saddles,
Yep.
my average fuel consumption was 25.9 litres per 100k. Hence why I nearly ran out of petrol before we got to
That's right, on
Whakabari.
the other way, yes.
And I was stressing that I
It's
wasn't
like
going to get
3
there.
cars. I think 2 did run out of fuel.
Yep.
And then you almost did, eh?
I managed to get to the servo
Yeah.
and put gas in it, but yeah, we were close.
It was
We
the
were
first
really close.
Gumboot Rally I've done that I haven't taken a fuel can because I wasn't meant to take my car.
Yeah.
And what's next with the car?
If you talk to my soon-to-be wife, nothing. We're going to drive it and enjoy it.
Okay, what does Logan think's next with the car?
Supercharger.
Yeah?
Yeah, or twin turbo.
I think you're nuts, personally, because as we both mentioned many times while driving, it's more car than either of us can handle. But I love that you are so nuts.
It's the fact that you've got this thing that just is so unreal. If I can make it more unreal,
Yep.
it puts it into its own field. Like, I don't want to ruin the fact that it's a daily driver.
Yep.
And that you could happily get in it and go get the groceries. Like, I don't want to ruin it to that point. So anything that I do
Yep.
has to be able to be tamed down. These things supercharged just have a sound. There
Yep.
is just an absolutely beautiful sound that comes out of them, as do most supercharged cars. But
Yep.
the resonating sound that comes out of the exhaust is not like any V8 I've ever heard.
Yep. Well, thanks for letting me drive your car.
No worries, man, anytime.
Once again, the torque is unfathomable. If you haven't driven any of the RS4 range, especially this model, highly recommend it. It is, Jeremy Clarkson said it is the last of the true driving cars. I understand.
Yep.
It is one of the nicest cars I've ever driven. Genuinely.
Audi never made a manual V8 after this.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they're all automatics.
Yeah.
So,
Cool, man. Well,
Pretty
thank you.
special. No
That was
worries,
awesome.